Hello, fifth graders. So today we are going to continue on with our decimals lessons. We are going to quickly kind of review adding decimals today before we continue on tomorrow. So let's take a look, shall we? So the first thing that we're going to do, we'll start at the 1, is we are going to estimate. So when we estimate, we are going to be rounding to the nearest whole number. We're going to round our numbers kind of to the nearest whole number. So 2 and 25 thousandths is going to round down to 2. 1 and 9 tenths is going to round up to 2. So if we add these two together, we get 4. So the reason that we start with estimating is because when we get all the way through our steps, we can compare to our estimate to make sure that we didn't make any big mistakes. Now let's continue. Step 2, we line up our decimals and our place values. If you remember when we talked about adding decimals last week, we talked about how our decimal points are kind of on a string, or they're magnets, so they all stack up on top of each other. So we are going to stack our numbers and make sure that we line up our decimals and our place values. So I'm going to turn so my little segment is straight for me. I'm going to start with my 1s. So I have 2, decimal point, and a 0, 2, 5. My second number, I have to make sure my 1s are lined up. And then my decimal points stay stacked on top of each other. And then my next number. Now if it's helpful for you to add those two kind of invisible zeros at the end to help you add, then you can do that. And that is, oops, I kind of went ahead of myself a little bit. That is step 3, actually, to add our zeros. So let's kind of repeat that. So we'll rewrite our number. And we'll add our 2 zeros to the end to help us out. So we add those 2 zeros to the end so that we don't get confused here, since there's no numbers there in our second number. And then we get to step 4, and we're going to add just like normal. So what I like to do first is I like to take my decimal points and bring my decimal point straight down right away so that I don't forget to bring it down. And then we start on the right side and add just like normal. So 5 plus 0 is going to give us 5. 2 plus 0 gives us 2. 0 plus 9 gives us 9. And 2 plus 1 gives us 3. So our final answer is 3 and 925 thousandths. Now we're going to compare our numbers to our estimate. So our actual number was 3 and 925 thousandths, and we're going to compare it to our estimate, which was 4. If these two numbers are close to each other, then we know that we probably got our answer correct. 3 and 925 thousandths is very, very close to 4. It's only 75 thousandths away from 4. So that tells us that we probably got our answer correct. So that is adding decimals, and that's your fun little decimal wheel. This is something that you can kind of keep around next to you if you need help with adding decimals while you're working. You can also, if you'd like, you can also color kind of all of the different pieces. I like to color them, it's fun. Then your independent practice, if you notice around the wheel, there are some addition problems. So I'll kind of highlight the boxes for us so we can see where they all are. So I do want you to write at least your final answer in these boxes. If you need to do the work on a separate sheet of paper, that is totally fine. Make sure that if you do your work on a separate sheet of paper that you are attaching that separate sheet of paper to your submission so that I can see your work. It helps me to be able to see your work because then I can really tell if you're understanding it, or if you make any silly mistakes, then like maybe you added 9 plus 2 and you accidentally wrote 10 instead of 11, then we can see that and we can fix those mistakes. So you have 4 problems on this side, and you'll have 4 more problems on this side. So you don't need to highlight all of these boxes. I'm just doing it so that we can kind of see where all of the problems are. But there are only 8 of them. You also do not have an exit ticket this week, today, not this week. You do not have an exit ticket today for adding decimals since we already did an exit ticket for it. So all 4 of those orange spaces are your independent practice. I'll also give you your secret word of the day so you can write that on your paper. And that word is picture, because today's picture day. So please make sure that you have your secret word. Make sure that you write at least your final answers in all 8 of those boxes, and make your notes. If you want to color it all in, you can. Sometimes it makes it more fun if you color it in. If you have any questions about your assignments today, please let me know.